Coach, what have you had the chance to see from your team as they just practiced and as, throughout the process of traveling to North Carolina, and just how pumped do you think that your team is to take on this challenge?
Yeah, they're flying right now. We've, we landed last night and went straight to training, and we trained under the lights right next to the stadium. Energy was awesome. A lot of excitement. A lot of energy at training. I thought it was awesome. Quality probably lacked a little bit. I think there was probably some nervous energy, and the field was a little bit slicker and faster than our field in Alabama. But I think it was great that we got used to it last night, and then again, training today was sharp and intense, and just the overall mood and the vibe is awesome right now.
All right, Mason.
Coach, of course, your team is very heavy with senior leadership, but for Sydney Yapish, Brooks Steer, and Gianna Paul to have such success early on in their careers, what goes on to having freshmen play this championship level soccer this early in their careers?
Yeah, I think it's great. And you look at you mentioned the experience right now of our group, and just kind of the I guess senior leadership, et cetera, the experience that they've had. They all got this as freshmen, and not at quite the level that Gianna and Sydney are, but the fact that Sydney and Gianna and I'm sorry here. I'm just trying. The fact that Sydney, Gianna, and who else did you mention? Brooke, right? The fact that they're getting that right now, it's gonna, I got to believe that by the time they're juniors and seniors, they're, it's gonna help them. So I think it's great for them to see success and play such a pivotal role at such a young age.
All right, Tony.
It was after playing like so many home games in the tournament. How much do you guys lean back on that SEC tournament in terms of like playing in these neutral sites against big teams?
Yeah, it's certainly going to be different, right? I mean, it was awesome that we, earned the right to host, the first, 4 games in Tuscaloosa and play in front of our home crowd. I mean, that was huge, and I think a big reason why we're here right now. But thankfully for us, we challenged ourselves in the non-conference schedule. I think, going to Utah and playing those games, playing the night game at BYU in front of, gosh, I don't know, there's probably 3,000 fans there. That certainly helped prepare us for it. And then, as you mentioned, the SEC tournament, just a few weeks ago, playing Mississippi State and Vanderbilt and South Carolina at a neutral site. I think that, certainly was important for us. And so I think the key for us is, that, we've been good at home, good on the road, and good at neutral sites. We've won everywhere. So, for us, I don't think it's a big deal.
All right, Michael Casagrande.
Yeah, you guys have a pressing style of offense. How would you describe UCLA's style of play?
Yeah, UCLA is a very talented team. They've got a lot of good players, and they're a team, almost like Duke, where they like the ball, they like possession of the ball. I think if we were a team that sat off, I think they would be able to have a lot of success, and I think they want that comfortability of having the ball. But as you mentioned, we're a pressing team. We're not going to give them the time and space that they're probably used to and accustomed to. So it'll be interesting to see how the game goes. I believe, and my hope would be that our pressing turns them over and frustrates them and gives us momentum, and hopefully along with that comes territory is an important thing for us. And so we're hoping to press them and turn them over in their half of the field, which is going to give us the ball that much closer to goal. So that would be the plan going into it. Obviously easier said than done, but that's the plan going into it.
All right, well,
Is that our plans?
Coach, in addition to the pressing play style that's giving your team a lot of success, what are the other strengths of your team that you want to see them exploit tomorrow night?
Yeah, well, I think there's no doubt in my mind that we're gonna come with energy. We're gonna I don't think that's gonna be an issue. I mentioned last night just the energy at our training. It was the players were excited and they were active and buzzing and they were busy, and I think that that's gonna happen tomorrow night, right? A big stage, under the lights, a packed house. I think we're going to be able press them, and the energy is going to be there. I think the tough part is going to be now once we've won that ball, are we composed enough to keep it? And you almost kind of gotta flip a switch. On the defending side, it's hard, it's pressing, it's work. And then all of a sudden you win the ball, and now you've got to almost slow things down a little bit, and now you've got to be a little more calculated with the soccer. And so, my hope is that we're able to win balls, turn them over, and then we need to be able to be a little bit, composed with the ball, and make sure we're making good decisions with the ball. So we were able to do that against Duke, and that's why I thought we were so successful. So my hope is that that we can do that again tomorrow night.
All right, Mason.
I had to get unmuted. Coach, I know the focus is on the game, but UCLA's coach Gabrielle Zaza talked about how you and her go back to the coaching days in the club, and how Jordan DiBiase played for you as a club player and then played for her at Stanford. Just from a purity standpoint, how does it feel to play in a competition with high-level soccer against old friends and just competing for the love of the sport?
Yeah, it's awesome. And I mean, the soccer world, and I'm sure all sports, kind of have similar stories, but, the soccer world is pretty darn small. And so there's so many connections between, so many of us coaches. And as you mentioned, Jordan DiBiase was a player, back when I was a club coach that I coached, and she was recruiting, her from off of my team. We've got, different, relationships and connections with just about every coach out there, but it's pretty cool to see her success. She's a great coach and a great girl, and I'm happy for her that she's been successful as a head coach, and early on, it took me 8 years to get here. She's here in 1 year, but great for her, and I wish her nothing but success, and except for tomorrow, obviously, but I'm happy for her.
All right, Tony.
Yeah, when you're deciding on when to put Gianna into the game, is there like a designated minute you're trying to get her in, or what? If not, what are you looking for in the other team? Because you mentioned with the possession style, I mean, she could be someone you could use as a counterattack kind of threat, just with her speed.
Yeah, with Gianna, there's not a set, and actually for any of our subs, we don't ever put, a time limit and say, okay, well, at the 20th minute mark or the 25th minute mark, I want to get them into the game. For me, I kind of like the game to settle in a little bit. I want us to wear the other team down a little bit, and then bring Gianna in, maybe at a lull, or maybe when, maybe when I think we need a little boost or something like that. But I mean, you've seen in a number of games this season, you put Gianna in, and all of a sudden she can make things happen in a hurry. I think, from an attacking side, just obviously, putting balls in over the top, or her getting behind defenses. But same thing on the defending side of the ball. I mean, we are a pressing team. She's as good as anyone at pressing. I mean, she's so good at closing down spaces fast, and not giving defenders, time to, get their head up and connect a pass. I mean, she's so good at that. So, for me, tomorrow night, I'll see how long we can go. And I guess at the moment that I see, that, maybe, we need a little, interjection of some energy or life, then that'll be a good time to put Gianna in.
All right, Ishan.
Yeah, Coach. You mentioned it took you 8 years to get here. In your second year with Florida State as assistant coach, you guys got a championship. What and won the championship. What lessons do you get from that year that you want to apply to now?
Good question. I don't know. I think the message I've been, preaching to our players, and that I'll continue preaching, is, I don't want to make this game any bigger than it already is. I feel we've done a good job all year long of, just kind of treating every game the same and every opponent the same. It didn't matter who we were playing. And that's kind of what I want to do here is, not act like this is, I don't want nerves to come into it. And it's naturally going to happen, right? It's going to be a bigger crowd, and clearly it's a bigger stage, but really what I want to do is I don't know, just reemphasize that, hey, this is just another game, another opponent, another good opponent that we've seen all year long. And we just need to approach it the exact same way. But, going back to my days with Florida State, I think probably the biggest obstacle here is just there's a lot more distractions, right? I mean, obviously you're going to be meeting with 3 players in a few minutes to do, some media interviews. After that, we're taking, I think, 9 players over to the stadium where they're doing some photo shoots and just kind of different media activities. And, there's, more families and friends that are coming out of the woodworks trying to get tickets and trying to see players. So there's just more distractions, I think, than we're used to. And so I guess, through my time at Florida State, I've kind of seen that, and how it can kind of, weigh on the players and affect the players and stuff. So I guess that would be, kind of one thing I learned from being here before.
All right, and we'll finish with Tony before the players.
Yeah, how much of a learning lesson was the Duke game for y'all? I mean, going up 2-0, and was that kind of like a wake-up call, like, hey, you can never really let your foot off the gas?
Yeah, I think I've said this a lot of times, when, every week when we've won big games and new rankings came out and more attention, for me, I think the best lesson we got from that Duke game is it just reemphasized to us that we're pretty damn good. That Duke was a very, very good team, obviously, and I thought for the majority of the game we took it to them. And so I think the biggest thing we learned is we are a very good team. But yeah, I mean, like you said, that we had that one little lapse where we let them get behind us and get a couple goals, and not that we didn't already know that you've got to play 90 minutes and play a complete game, but in every game there's going to be some peaks and valleys and highs and lows throughout the game. But I think the biggest thing we took away is, look, we played against one of the best teams in the country and took it to them. So biggest lesson for us is that we belong here.